So, pain and suffering, right? We have to do that because if pain and suffering is normal, right? The absence of action leads to what we perceive as pain and suffering. Then that is the positive will of the cosmos just acting, right? It is a positive part of force. And the occasional absence of pain and suffering is satisfaction and pleasure, which is a negative. It's an occasional occurrence that we get as a consequence or result of our actions, of our intervening with the cosmos, with the natural whatever energy, voodoo, fucking what is it called, astrology, right? It is the absence of it because you're working against the natural flow, the natural positive flow of the cosmos, of the universe, of life. So working against it as a negative, right? The pleasure and the satisfaction is a negative. Now, the reason it is a negative is because, actually, I think I'm thinking it backwards. The reason that pain and suffering is a positive is because it is natural. It's because it is constantly occurring without the interference or intervention of animals or whatever. It's still going to occur. Therefore, the opposite, pain and pleasure, must be negative, right? Because you're intervening, you're moving, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think it comes back to my perception, right? I have these environmental predisposition, which is, I guess, capitalism and Mormonism cult here in Utah, which the environment and my culture and family gives me the perspective that these negative occurrences are pleasurable and good, right? And that pain and suffering is bad, even though that's the positive natural flow of the universe. And so I'm thinking, well, how do you change your perspective? I can't become a masochist. I know that I don't like pain in that way, for sure. I don't know, I guess. No, for sure. But how do you change your perspective? How do you make the idea that pain and suffering is negative and bad? How do you make that good? How do you see that? How do you perceive that as good? So I'm trying to account for this with the idea of perception, which is perception is just a bunch of filters in our brain. Like I said, the predispositions, your environmental play, like how you grew up, your social relationships, your biological structures of your brain and chemicals, like all of those predispositions create filters, and that's how you perceive reality. And so how do I change my perception so that I don't think of this pain and suffering as a negative thing when it is natural flowing occurrence of the universe? I think there's other thoughts and ideas where I don't know, like Buddhism or something, where you can kind of just change the way that you perceive or think. I don't know. Materialism obviously is a huge factor when it comes to suffering of that kind or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just made a Facebook post about it. I'm sure my Mormon family and everyone is gonna love it. But I gotta go shopping. I just wanted to document this before I went into the store. Yeah. Sorry about the tooth thing. I got my phone. Yeah.